What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to DSM Pre-Game Live. Bengals Week 8 matchup. Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. No T. Higgins for Cincinnati today. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Heavy offensive loaded talent today, man.
Yeah.
Could be a shootout. We'll see. We're going to get into our keys to victory, standout stars, best bets, game predictions, so much more, guys. I'm one half of your host today, Dylan Davis. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty. If you are new to the channel, make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. Check out the link tree in our bio on Twitter. It'll take you directly to the DSM Philadelphia YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let's get into it. My man, happy Sunday, and what is going on? Long time no see.
Yeah, we finally made it to the Sunday here, man. We got a prime matchup here. Right at 1 p.m. We got flexed to the 1 p.m. game, but it's one of the better matchups of the day, if you ask me, even from a non-biased Eagles fan standpoint. But I'm excited for this matchup. Once again, another spot for the Eagles to prove themselves on this fine Sunday. And I'm ready to get into it with you, man. It's an exciting matchup to look into. No T. Higgins makes it a little bit more favorable, but still wouldn't take the Bengals lightly today.
No, absolutely not. This is a humongous game for our Eagles today, man. We've talked about it all week long. We've talked about it over the last week and a half, really. The Eagles are starting to trend in the right direction, right? They were beat up, ever from week 2 to week 5 or so. And they start to get healthier after the bye week, after they get their teeth kicked in Tampa Bay again, getting pretty tired of that. But they get healthy through the bye week. Then they have a very ugly win against the Browns. Then they have a very good win on the road against the Giants. They're continuing this upward trajectory, and it has to continue today, man. We cannot, take a step forward to take 2 steps back today. We talk a lot about ugly wins. We talk about, good losses. If there is such a thing, there can be no loss today. I've heard a couple different people in Philly media kind of talk about, it's okay. It is okay if the Eagles lose. Like, the season's not over if they fall to 4-3, but you are going to have a tough time continuing to make me and some of this fan base that are hesitant to buy all the way back in, and exceed expectations. If you lose today, there is no good loss. Either way, I look at it this way, Scotty. Either they lose a low-scoring game and the offense continues to struggle. Maybe they get out to a slow start in the first quarter, which we'll get to soon. Or they lose in a shootout and we don't know what this defense is. Congratulations. You look great against Deshaun Watson and Daniel Jones, but you let Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase go for 35 points today. So there is no good loss today. We cannot take a step backwards. It's the biggest game on the schedule up to this point, and the Eagles need to win this game, man.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I'll even kind of counter that with there's no bad win today. You win.
Yes, 1,000%.
Great win ultimately when you're playing Joe Burrow and that Cincinnati offense. So however you get it done, just get it done today. Ultimately, there's no style points for me today. And at the end of the game, I mean, obviously, if you go out there and dominate them, you get some style points. Right. But if you go out there and have a squeaker against the Bengals, and you have like maybe a little bit of a shootout with Joe Burrow, I'm not gonna ultimately lose sleep if we win that game. So no bad loss or bad win today, I should say.
Yeah. And it's always interesting when these two teams meet up, man. I don't know if I saw that we've never won in Cincinnati, or it's been quite some time since we did win a game in Cincinnati. We've tied the Bengals twice in my lifetime. Like, that just feels weird to say. We know how rare a tie in the NFL is. You go back to Donovan McNabb, not knowing the overtime rules, not knowing that the game ends after that 10-minute period, all the way back in the mid to early 2000s. A couple years ago, Carson Wentz, I don't remember if it was his rookie year or not, we tied the Bengals. So weird things always happen when these two teams get together, man. But I'm expecting fireworks today. No T. Higgins. That's big for the Eagles, very bad for Cincinnati. But I have a feeling Joe Burrow, we talked about it earlier this week, the record isn't there, but Joe Burrow is still in the MVP conversation. He has been lights out. Yeah. Bengals, man, 0-3 at home. That's something else that, like, just trends that I'm not liking a little bit in terms of, for the Eagles. I know it shouldn't matter. Just go play your game, go win a football game. But like when you think about it, are the Bengals going to continue to lose every game? Are they going to go 0-4 at home? So we'll see, man. The way the Eagles need to go in and get a win, I'll start here with my first key, Scotty. Quick start on offense. I talked about it with you on Friday morning, man. Look, caps off to the defense. Even in the games they've given up a lot of points, it hasn't really been early on. You can go all the way back to Green Bay when they gave up in the high 20s. They bailed out Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense by with all those turnovers and holding Green Bay to field goals. Atlanta, I know that last drive is inexcusable. Before that, they had Atlanta at what, 15, 16 points in that matchup? New Orleans, they were great. The Browns, they were great. The Giants, they were great. Outside of Tampa Bay, the defense has been really good, man. But I don't know how many weeks in a row you are going to go scoreless in the first quarter, and it's still going to be a 0-0 ball game or a 3-0 ball game or a 3-3 ball game late in the second quarter. That cannot happen. Get out to a fast start, Scotty. If I'm being honest, I want the ball first today. If I'm Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore, I know they don't do it. I know every time we win the toss, we defer, and I know sometimes it can bite you in the ass when you want to make that statement. Get our offense on the field, and if you go 3 and out, that's a very deflating feeling. Give me the ball. Get Saquon Barkley, get Jalen Hurts, get A.J. Brown on the field immediately and make a statement early on in this game. The Bengals defense, this Bengals secondary stinks, dude. Go start early. They are the only team not to have a single first quarter point this year, man. Go get me 6 in the first quarter today.
Yeah, no, I think you make a good point. And I think even, just looking at it from a week-to-week basis, it's just an easy barometer for us to say, oh, the Eagles look better this week if they score in the first quarter. It's just something they haven't been able to do is start fast early. And it's definitely something I want to see today as well, man. I think the other thing that I'm looking at today, especially offensively, is just protecting Jalen Hurts. I think last week he got sacked 4 times against the Giants, something like that, 4 or 5 times. You're missing Mailata, so Fred Johnson's going to get the start there at the left tackle. Trey Hendrickson, they're going to line him up over there. They move him around. They move him around to where he's going to get a favorable matchup. I'm sure that's more favorable than Lane Johnson. So Trey Hendrickson has 7 sacks on the season. He's going to get put over there, and Fred Johnson's going to have to show up because I've watched a lot of Bengals just because I obviously like their offense. I get to watch them regularly, and he is the standout for me on their defense easily. Aside from like Mike Hilton, right, back in the secondary. But I really like what Trey Hendrickson does. I won't like it today. So Fred Johnson's really got to help out there. The running back's going to have to help out, chip him, and keep Jalen Hurts clean. If Jalen Hurts is clean, he's going to have a huge day. Yeah, we already know what Jalen Hurts looks like when he's able to build a rhythm and get confident back there in the pocket. And it also goes for, obviously running the ball too. The offensive line's got to show up today. They need to look like themselves. They need to be themselves today. We can't allow that defensive line of the Bengals to come out here and kind of change the way this game could go. Yeah. We need to control the line of scrimmage and ultimately protect Jalen Hurts. And allow Saquon to get the holes that he needs to dominate today, man. Because
the boys are dying for first quarter points, man.
Guarantee the Bengals are
safety, anything.
Brother.
Yeah, so, no, I agree. I agree with you, man. My second key is consistency. And what I mean by that is consistency in building your identity. Through the first 5 to 6 games of the season, we haven't really learned what the Eagles are, what they like to do offensively, right? They've been fluctuating guys in and out of the lineup because of injuries. One game, Saquon touches the ball 27 times. The next game, he touches it 12 times. We don't know what they do and do really well.
Yeah.
And last week, you found out. You turn around and you give 2-6 the ball and you find ways to get 11 the ball. Run the football today. You mentioned it, man, especially with Mailata being out. The Bengals are probably going to sell out on Saquon Barkley a decent amount today. That cannot deter you. You will be able to move the football on the ground today. And then on top of it, don't force the big shot, man, down the field to A.J. Brown. What did we start? Was it the Cleveland game or was it last week where he threw like 5 straight go routes? I can't remember. Jalen started the game 0 for 5. Stop. Get the ball, screens, slants, 5-yard out routes. Get the ball in 11's hands. He's able to make guys miss. He's able to break tackles, and he's able to pick up yak, man. So get the ball to 2-6 early, establish the run game early, and then find ways to get the ball to 11. And that's your identity. I think it's crystal clear. Jalen continue to protect the ball, and that's all he has to do with those two weapons, man.
Yeah, they're the number 2 overall rushing offense in the NFL. So yeah, run the football, stick to what you know and what you're good at. The other thing that I'll throw in with that, it kind of goes along with it, just creating long, sustaining drives. The Eagles are fairly good at it once they get in rhythm. They get the offense going. They're able to chew up a lot of the clock, and I know that doesn't help like the overs and stuff in this game. But I could see that as another facet to keep Joe Burrow off the field and not let him just completely tear apart your defense. So running the football and no turnovers. I think that's another big thing. Turnovers could decide a game like this. We know how clean Joe Burrow has played this season, only 2 interceptions on the year, 14 touchdowns. Jalen obviously started the season with consecutive games of interceptions. Now 2 straight games with no turnovers. So we need to keep that trend going the same way, win the turnover battle, run the football, and ultimately keep the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands as much as we can.
Yeah, that's my third key, man. Value the football today. Yes, it starts and ends with Jalen Hurts, obviously. But everybody else, we can go back. Remember that Cowboys game on Sunday night, I believe, or Monday Night Football, when Jalen, Smitty, and AJ all fumbled on like the first 3 or 4 possessions of the game. Value the football, because you mentioned it. There's a guy that wears number 9 on the other side of the field, on the other sideline, that you want to limit how much he can get the ball. And again, that goes back to running the football. Clock management, like you talked about, is going to be huge today. So value the football, manage the clock. And to Martian's point, you talked about it, Scotty, when they're able to sustain drives, yes, it hasn't happened in the first quarter or early in games, but they're able to really chew up clock and finish. You have to finish when you get down in the red zone. I want 7, but to his point, you cannot get down in the red zone and throw an interception in the end zone like you did in New Orleans. You cannot get down and take points off the board because you want to go for it on a 4th and 3, 4th and 1. You have to finish drives and value the football today.
Yeah. No, Martian's spot on in the comments today. No trolling today. I see it. No, this is spot on as well, man. It's Saquon territory. It's also Jalen Hurts territory, man. Keep the ball on the ground. Let's run the football in. Now, do I think they're going to be able to just run the football every time? No, they're going to have a few passing touchdowns today. I do think Jalen ultimately has a day, but just saying, man, feel free to use 2-6's legs, of course, and also Jalen's, man. He's shown in the previous weeks that he has gotten a little bit of that quickness back to the run game, a little bit of that jerkiness that he can use, the shiftiness. And obviously carries a lot of strength. So use that duo threat in the red zone, in the goal line situation, similar to what Baltimore does, man. They mix defenses up like that. So I think the Eagles can do something similar here. It starts once again with dominating the line of scrimmage. Takes me to my next key to victory, my last one, and it goes to the defensive side of things. I've thought about it a lot, obviously, between like the secondary, how they're going to match up. T. Higgins not being there, that makes things a lot more favorable, but it's still Jamar Chase. But ultimately, it's the line of scrimmage once again. The defensive line has to dominate today. You have to first stop the run, completely eliminated. They're like the 28th ranked rush defense in the NFL. A lot of it, they've played catch up in some games, and a lot of it is just they don't have a ton of talent at the running back position. They don't have the great, running sturdy offensive line to be able to pound the ball like that. So eliminate the run early, right? Get that out the way. Don't let them think that they can even run the football in the first place. And then you got to get pressure on Joe. You have to get to him. I think the corners, the safeties are going to have to play up a little bit closer, man. Just a little bit. You don't want to give up the big play to Jamar Chase, but just a little bit closer to give your defensive line a little bit more time to get to Joe back there. And once you start getting to him, man, that's when he does start to turn the ball over and maybe get a little bit more risky, right? The more you can score today, the more pressure you put on their offense, the riskier they're going to be as an offense today. And that's what we want to see ultimately. We want to see them make mistakes. So yeah, I want to get some pressure on Joe Burrow. I want to continue what we've been doing the last few weeks as a defensive line, a defensive unit. Send Nakobe Dean on a blitz. Do it all day. Let him get down in there and do what he loves to do, which is ultimately hit someone. He wants to go back there and hit the quarterback, then let him. I would love to see some different things from Fangio today to just try to get at Joe Burrow. Try. It might not work. He's a very good quarterback, but just try something different. I do not want to see the dinking and dunking all day, man.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, and I love that that's your key, because to piggyback off of it, my final key, and it is on the defensive side, is don't break. What I mean is, we know they bend, but don't break today. Hold them to 3, try to force turnovers, because I got news. I love and agree with everything you just said. It's not happening.
Yeah.
And Vic likes to say that they have the freedom to get up and press coverage and get up on the line of scrimmage. Why doesn't anyone do it ever? Yeah. And over the last couple of years with different coordinators that fall under the Fangio tree, and we see the same scheme, they had the freedom. They're allowed to get up on the line of scrimmage, but no one. Come on, man. Come on, dude. But no corners want to get up. You're telling me Quinyon Mitchell has the freedom to get up on the line of scrimmage whenever he wants to, or if he wants to, and he just chooses not to. That dog that is Quinyon Mitchell, he chooses not to. He just falls in line, right? I don't believe they had the. What'd you say?
I'd let Q follow Chase today. I would, man. I really would.
I agree. And look, I don't really mean this as disrespect. I think Slay gets toasted on Jamar Chase today. I think any matchup, you're going to see number 2 trailing.
I think he would be better against T. Higgins. I think he would have a better matchup there with T. Higgins. I think Jamar Chase is just a little too quick, man. I like somebody young on Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Even Cooper DeJean in the slot, like, it's not ideal. Don't get me wrong, a rookie on Jamar Chase, but a little bit quicker, a little bit more spry, able to get in and out of breaks a little bit better.
I got news for you, brother.
Yeah.
You talked about the Bengals maybe just going all in on stopping Saquon. I'm throwing the kitchen sink at Jamar Chase today. I am making Joe Burrow pick anybody else to beat me today. I am not like you talked about wanting to do something different. I agree. I'm doing something different. And not only is like a Quinyon Mitchell following Jamar Chase around for a majority of the game, there's help every time. There is C.G. Gardner-Johnson. There is Reed Blankenship. There is help every single time. I am making Jamar Chase's life hell today. Do I think it happens? No. I think they're going to continue to just fall in line with the same old scheme. And that's why I said my final key is don't break, because that ball is going to come out of Joe Burrow's hands like this today. You watch what Baker Mayfield and company did. You really think the Bengals aren't going to do that today? It's happening. You cannot break when they get down in the red zone.
I'm interested to see which team gets like egotistical today with their wide receivers, right? And maybe just forces it a little too much. I'm interested to see who it's going to be that does that, because I could see the Bengals obviously forcing the ball to Jamar Chase today. He's kind of their only option. The funny thing is I could see Mike Gesicki like doing something, something just so annoying. Like he's going to have some catch, maybe a touchdown that is just so annoying. Like, oh, of course, Gesicki against us, right? Yeah. But aside from that, like, I mean, is it Iosivas, the third wide receiver there? He has 189 yards, 3 tutties this year. He's like the third guy behind Higgins and Chase there. Chase Brown, definitely a guy you want to contain out of the backfield. He can get a little, he can sneak out of the backfield, get a big gainer in the receiving game. He's a physical runner. That'll be interesting to see him versus brother. But yeah, man, I could see them just forcing it down Jamar Chase's throat, man. Pause. But I could see them forcing it to Jamar Chase today. Yeah, and just trying different ways to get him open.
Well, they'd be dumb not to. Look, like we said, just because a team's focus or game plan is to try to take something away, like the Bengals could try to do against Saquon Barkley today, that shouldn't deter you. You should be able to say, "This is what I do, and I do it better than you." Trying to stop it. Yeah. Same thing with Jamar Chase. Like we could try to take it away. You could force the ball to this show's going south quick. Yeah.
Oh man. Hella descriptor words today.
Let's get into our standout stars today, man. Scotty, who do you have on the offensive side of the ball that steps up?
Yeah, man, this is a Jalen Hurts game for me today. I see him going off today, and I like I said earlier in the week, I think this is very similar spot to like what we saw in Buffalo last season is what I meant to say. That huge matchup, I believe it was on Sunday Night Football, right? The Kelly Greens. It was just like a legendary night, quite honestly. It was one of the best games I've ever seen. Um, Jalen Hurts goes off in that game. Josh Allen goes off in that game, but Jalen Hurts prevails. I like Jalen Hurts to do what he needs to do today to win this game. And this is where you see the gamer come out of Jalen Hurts. He might take off more than usual today in situations. I could see Jalen with a total of 3 to 4 touchdowns today, 2 through the air, 1 on the ground. Obviously, we're gonna get one of those tush pushes in today. It's a physical game. I think we'll show our domination on the line of scrimmage in that way. That's kind of the way we suck the life out of teams. God, yeah, man. As soon as it came out, God, man, Martian has just ruined me this morning, man. Yeah.
He wasn't even done saying.
Man, they're gonna do a tush push. It's gonna demoralize the Bengals on the line of scrimmage. I see a big game for number one today. I think you saw it in the Super Bowl, right? The matchup with Patrick Mahomes. You've seen it last season a couple times when we had those big matchups. This is another one against Joe Burrow where I think Jalen Hurts really steps up to the plate, does what he needs to win.
Yeah, no, I agree. I saw Hunter's comment. I agree. My standout star on offense is going to be A.J. Brown. It should be Saquon Barkley. If things go to plan today, if Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni do what they're supposed to today, Saquon Barkley will run the ball 18 to 23 times, get a couple catches out of the backfield, and really take over today. But I do think when it's there, A.J. Brown's going to have a big day. Maybe it's not. Maybe he's not the focal point. Maybe he's not not having 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 targets, but 6, 7 catches. Over 100 yards. I think he's averaging over 100 yards on the season, man. I know he's been injured, so his numbers are a little skewed. He hasn't played in every game, obviously. But the big plays are there. But get the man the ball in space, right? Get him on the slant. Get him in the screen. I don't know, man. I watch us run these screens to Britton Covey when he was healthy. I watch us run it to like a Smitty, right? And get blockers out in front. Dude, get the ball to that fucking beast and let them try to tackle him. You know how they always
they work. You know what I mean? Because you can break tackles.
Right. You know how they talk about like how over the course of a game, teams, players just do not want to continue to have to take Derrick Henry to the ground. Yeah. It's a lot to put on your body. A.J. Brown's not Derrick Henry. A.J. Brown's one of the biggest wide receivers, strongest wide receivers in the game. Give him the ball and make Cincinnati have to get him to the ground over and over again.
I wonder if it's just like having the threat of AJ going downfield while you're doing the screen again. I'm just thinking outside the box just in that moment. But I do agree with you. I think AJ Brown. That's what I meant though. Like when Hunter says forcefully, who gets egotistical with it today? That's what I'm wondering, man. Who says we're going to him no matter what, even if you're playing?
You remember that Chicago game? Was it last year or 2 years ago? When it's the game Jalen got hurt. It was like windy and like I remember betting on Miles Sanders like touches because it was supposed to be a run the football type of day, and I'm pretty sure we threw the ball like 40 times. So yeah, we know Nick can get into it. So hopefully that doesn't happen today, man. John Dotson game, be nice. Don't foresee it happening.
If Kellen Moore if he's able to, showcase a little bit more of his offense today, like we've been seeing in the last couple of weeks, it seems like it's, transitioning into more of Kellen Moore. And maybe that's just how long it took them to, get the concepts down. I don't know why you don't implement it, earlier in the season, but it seems like we're seeing more different facets of the offense. So maybe he had 2 touches last game, 2 first downs. That's a start.
Things are going well for Jahan here in Philly, man.
Well, all right. I keep seeing like wide receiver 3s like mocked to the Eagles. Like I don't know about you, unless it's like a Cooper Kupp, obviously not happening now, but like that level.
Yeah.
I have no interest in trading draft compensation for a wide receiver 3, man. We're not going to use it. I'd rather have a backup tight
He
end.
already got fucking rocked on the Dotson trade for what it's worth.
Yeah, I'm
Like, when
good
you
on
look around the
trading
value
here,
of the
man.
market for wide
Let's try to
receivers.
figure it out with Dotson and move forward, man.
Like, think
But
about that, man. Like, we give Howie a lot of credit, and he deserves it most of the time.
yeah,
But I've watched in the last couple of days and a week, I have watched DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper, and Devontae Adams
yeah,
all get moved for less or equal to
yeah.
what we paid for Jahan Dotson before the
Amari
year.
Cooper would have been perfect
Yeah.
in the slot. Yeah,
But
like we don't
we'll
use
see.
wide receiver 3. I don't know if we don't use him or if Dotson just sucks ass. Like I don't know. I don't know.
No, I don't think we use them, man. Look, have we had the most talented guys over the last couple of years? No, but I don't like it's
Not that
consistently a
bad.
conversation,
Yeah.
right? It's Zach Pascal, it's Quez Watkins, it's Julio Jones, it's Olamide Zaccheaus, now Shahan Dotson. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that not one of them
Yeah,
has had a role on this team for the most part.
yeah. I agree.
So, yeah, it's bad. I don't think they use them, man. Defensively, Scotty, you talked about Nakobe Dean possibly being active today. You talked about the defensive line. Bryce Huff down in a 4-point stance. Can he get after Joe Burrow on the edge today? Who do you got on the defensive side of the ball as your standout star?
Yeah, it is funny I said all of that because I'm going with Cooper DeJean, man, in the slot.
I like it.
I think he's going to be matched up with Jamar Chase quite a few times. And what that means is you're going to get targets your way, man. You're going to get opportunities. So can he take advantage of one and possibly get his first career interception? Did he already have an interception? Has he had a turnover yet? He hasn't, right?
I don't believe so, no.
He hasn't. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I'm getting him and like Reed Blankenship confused. But I'm going with Cooper DeJean. I think he gets his first career turnover today, man. Whether it's a forced fumble, getting in the backfield, sacking the quarterback for a fumble, or picking off Joe Burrow, man. There's going to be a lot of targets coming his way if Jamar Chase is lined up in that slot against him. So take advantage of it, man. Show up. He's been, as far as PFF grades, right? He's been one of the best nickel corners in the NFL since he's gotten the start after the bye week. So I know, Martian. I know, man.
Yeah. Did you watch?
Look very similar in their uniforms.
Did you watch Shameless? Did you watch the show Shameless?
Yeah, for sure.
Remember the white boy Carl era? And then when Frank's doing his runs with him, so Frank gets like the cornrows and stuff. Someone posted on Twitter that picture, and it's like Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship for the Eagles. And
I did see that.
It was both of them with their cornrows and like the grills and shit. Dude, it was hilarious.
Hilarious.
I love that you said that, man. And I'm going to go with Quinyon Mitchell because I do think he's going to have a lot of opportunity to line up across from Jamar Chase and really showcase what this kid is so early on in his career. And I love that you brought up Cooper DeJean as well, because we just talked about Howie, and I know we don't want to think about the future. I'm not just punting on the season, but if these two continue to develop and stay on track of what they look like so early on through 6, 7 games, Scotty, he hit a home run in the first two, man.
Yeah.
In the first 2 rounds, excuse me. Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell could be a pairing, could be a duo for a very long time in Midnight Green, and it's been beautiful to watch already. But I think Quinyon Mitchell, I think he gets his first pick today. Joe Burrow, he's protected the ball all year long, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions this year. I think Q gets his first pick today. He's come so close. He has literally jumped routes too quickly, too well, to where he's like overrunning the ball a little bit and like gets behind himself and can't come away with the pick down the sideline a couple different times. He had the over the shoulder catch, which is difficult. Like if you're not a wide receiver, even if you are a wide receiver, but if you're not, the over the shoulder catch 45 yards down the field on the boundary is not an easy catch to try to make for a DB. So that one goes through his hands. He's going to get one very soon, and I think it's going to be today, man, against an MVP candidate, maybe even when he's matched up on Jamar Chase, because Joe Burrow's looking his way.
I hope so, man. I hope he's not one of those corners that just drops the interception. Like great coverage corner that just can't catch interceptions. I hope it's not that. And I don't think it is, man. He just, like you said, he gets ahead of himself a little bit. He's young. So,
Yeah.
I agree. I ultimately think one of those guys gets their first turnover of the season today. I like Martian's pick too as well. Jalen Carter always. He's like the main factor, man. He
Yeah.
makes that whole defensive line front seven go. Him taking, two guys. Oh my God. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter. It's football. I think that's why, man. Like him taking two blockers in each play opens up lanes for guys like Bryce Huff, Nolan Smith to get back there and wreck the quarterback. So, man.
Football, sport lingo, football lingo. It's very suspect, bro. Like, and here's the thing. I'm gonna come to our aid real quick. It's not just us, Martian. I've seen so many. I even hear it sometimes when announcers talk about it. But I've seen TikToks of like girls sitting around on a couch and they're like, like they don't. I forget what the caption was. Like they're not into sports or whatever. And then they had like they clipped like a bunch of like Troy Aikman like sayings and shit that just sound crazy. And like they're like looking at the screen like, huh? Like what the fuck? It is. So it's not just us, man. It's the lingo of the sport. All right. There's just ways. I don't know. It's just
Marcia. He opened up the world, right? With his comment earlier, he opened up the world when he took what you said that way. It just opened up like this like thought in my head where now I'm like second guessing.
Yeah, I'm catching everything as it's even coming out of. Yeah. Even that, I just said I'm catching everything as it's coming out of my mouth. I can't. It's. I can't win today. Let's just get to game predictions and get the fuck out of here. What do the Eagles win today, Scotty? 2.5-point road dogs.
This is a nut up game for the Eagles. They gotta boss up in this game and show their dominance, man. It's a game for the Eagles to once again take a step towards showing they are who we thought they were coming into this season. They've had a little bit of ups and downs this season with those two losses, some of the mishaps, even in the wins. You come out today, you have a complete game. You play a truly talented team. We can't call them a good team, but they are a talented team in the Cincinnati Bengals. You're playing them in Cincy. It is one of those type of games for me with the Eagles today. I like the Eagles 27 to 30-ish points, 31-ish points. I like them around there. I really do like them to break the 30-point mark. It just depends what type of drives they're having today, man. Like if they're having sustained drives like I was talking about earlier, you're probably not going to have enough possessions to get to that 30-point mark. So that's why I do go a little bit below with the 27. I was going to pick the Eagles to win before the T. Higgins update.
Yeah, solidifies
that we're a better team. I think our defense is better. I think that is the difference today, is that our defense is 100% better than theirs. They have a middle of the pack defense, and that is kind of the difference for me today. Which defense can make their presence felt the most today? I think it is our defense. I think it's our defensive line can get after the quarterback. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles in this one, man.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. And I think it's something you hinted at by saying, show us who we thought they were before the year. And I do agree that our defense is better, and they're going to have to play well in order for the Eagles to win today. At least play okay, right? But I think the Eagles win this game today because of their offense, and I think that's who we thought they were. I think this offense should be prolific. There's too much talent. I know you're missing Mailata. I know you're missing Dallas Goedert. There's too much fucking talent for this team to not sustain drives and put up points today against the Bengals defense that has struggled. Look what Jaden Daniels was able to do on primetime in Cincinnati earlier on in the year. Yeah. He walked in there and gave them the third loss to start the year, put the Bengals at 0-3. Season looked lost. Dropped what? 38 points. And was lights out in that ball game, both through the air and on the ground. There's too many weapons. Who we thought the Eagles were are a team that's going to score around 30 points a game, and I think that starts today, man. And I think they're going to go out and win a game. I agree. I think as my best bet, like I said to you before the show, I did boost the Eagles over 20.5 team total points. I like them anywhere over 21.5, 22.5, 23.5, somewhere in that range. But I do think it's a day where you go score 20, 27, 28, 30 plus points. And be the offense, be the team we thought you were, win the ball game. I got the Eagles winning this one as well, man. I think it's time for things were just so negative around here surrounding this team, and they still kind of are. We've never, and for good reason. The end of last year, the same kind of issues and red flags we've seen, but we have been very critical of a 4-2 football team.
Yeah.
You go out and win today, you're 5-2, and I know we keep going back on it and we can't change the past, but you would be 5-2 with a big win today and a Saquon Barkley catch away from 6-1 on the year. And we are critical of this fucking team that has been injured a lot already to start the year. So big game today for the Birds, man. And I think they get the job done.
I do agree, man. I do agree. Martian, we answered that question earlier, but I don't think you were here yet. That was one of my keys to victory as well, protecting Jalen Hurts. Fred Johnson's going to be key in that today against Trey Hendrickson. You're going to have a little bit of help there for him. I do believe that. You don't want to let him wreck the game. So, yeah, I do think he's that caliber of player, though. 7 sacks on the year. That's how many games have they played? A sack per game, I guess. Yeah. Which I don't think he's played in every game for them this year either. So definitely somebody to keep an eye on. But I'm with you, Dylan. I think we come out here and finally, right? It's kind of it's due time. It's due time for us to play the part that we think we fit into here as Eagles. Best bets. You already
I'm riding with the team total, and I mean I am confident in them to win. I would probably alt it up to +3 instead of 2.5. And take the points if you want to be a little bit more careful. I know you're on it as well. Jalen Tuddy is incredibly juiced today, so that's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Plus 160 the last.
That is
where it's at now, but
that is crazy, man. Listen,
AJ Tuddy too. I like that one as well.
This comment: the Sixers are 3.5 hours away from tip off in Indiana. If they don't win today, which I don't think they're going to. They're 8.5-point underdogs. If they don't win today, we're gonna have an interesting show tomorrow morning, man. Not like nothing too over the top. It's very early on. We know they're not healthy, but Friday night was bad.
Yeah,
very, very, very bad. And I don't think they're going to win today. It's a tough task to ask them. That's why Friday was the game you should win, because you're probably going to start the year 1-2 anyway. Looking at the injuries and the record and the schedule, you lose that. You lose it, trickle down effect right now, man. And they have to reel everything in.
How they look today, maybe not winning, but 0-3 is 0-3 at the end of the day. I'm not giving them any excuses here, but how you look today tells a lot. Yeah. Tyrese Maxey, 5 for 23 or whatever the hell that was, and 10 for 31 in the first game. I don't know if the thumb is bothering you or what, man. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I'm not giving him that excuse until he lets us know that it's an excuse. But something's got to be up. Nick Nurse, something's got to be up with these rotations. You got to try some different things today, man. There's just a lot of things that it's looking a little clunky. That's what it looked like. On Friday
no
night.
Flow offensively. First of all, the officiating the other night was historically bad. We literally shot 53, 56 free throws in the game. There was almost 100 free throws. It's an NBA record. Really, really bad. Fouls. But it's not all of them are fouls. Obviously, you don't commit that many fouls. But just not this Andre Drummond, Yabusele comes in, gets into foul trouble. Now we have to go small. Caleb Martin gets in the foul. It's a lot, man. They're not disciplined. They're not doing things well offensively.
Where's the intensity? Where's the intensity? You're out there getting dogged by G leaguers, man. Come on.
Yeah, we're definitely going to discuss that loss tomorrow morning. Man.
Yeah. Man, that's a good point. I'm flying.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So that's right.
Evening time.
All right. Yeah. I forgot about that. Work trip for Scotty. So not tomorrow morning. Tomorrow evening, we'll be talking about that Sixers game and today's
probably all week.
As well as this Eagles game. Guys, let's get on out of here and go get ready for kickoff. We are about 5 minutes away. Go Birds. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow on all social media platforms. Peace out, everybody. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Peace, everybody. Go Birds.